Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming a decluttering video. If you didn't know, these are some of my absolute favorite videos to watch. I don't know, I love watching these videos because I feel like it inspires me to go through my collection and declutter my stuff and just clean. So today we're actually going to be doing my eyeshadow. So I did declutter these right back here, and then I do have a full drawer. I just keep my larger palettes up here. I was able to film that footage like standing up. That I'll insert after this right here because I tried to hold my camera down to look at my drawer like this and my tripod just wouldn't hold it. It's just an older tripod and it just wouldn't work. So I had to pull all my eyeshadow palettes out and they're all right here. So we're gonna go through them and hopefully I can get rid of a bunch because I have just been so, I feel like when I look at that drawer, it stresses me out. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and get started. So the first one is by Sonia Kashuk, and this is the Eye on Neutral Matte 2 palette. I love this palette. I used to rave about it all the time, and this is what I'm saying. When I went through here and I looked at my collection and remembered, I'm like, oh yeah, I had that palette. And like, it makes me, like I said, want to dip into this again. I know I want to keep this one because Sonia Kashuk, I don't think does makeup anymore. She kind of rebranded, I think, because at my Target, everything was like on sale, on clearance or whatever, and when it come back, it was just brushes. So I don't know if she does makeup anymore, but I don't think she does, but I do want to keep this one. Now the next is from Wet n Wild. This is the Comfort Zone palette. I think I'm going to let this one go. This was nice, but I never reached for it anymore. This is like the old one. I don't even think they make like this setup anymore, and I did really like this, especially for lid colors, but I don't use it anymore, so I don't really feel like I need to keep it, so I am going to get rid of that one. Alright, speaking of Wet n Wild, I'm going to go ahead and actually get rid of both of these palettes. So these are kind of like what their new eyeshadows were. And this one is Rosé in the Air, and this one is Nude Awakening. And honestly, just neither one of these worked for me. I felt like, in my opinion, they didn't like, especially the shimmer shades didn't perform nearly as well as the original ones. And then I just felt like the matte shades to me they were okay, like they were fair, but just they're not enough for me to keep from them. But if I would recommend one, I'd recommend this one, but I don't reach for them enough. So I am going to go ahead and pass these along as well. And then now we have the Tartelette in Bloom palette. I used to love this palette. Oh my gosh, I forgot how pretty it was. Like, look at it's so like neutral. But do I reach for this enough? That's the thing. Do I reach this palette enough? I feel like I do. I feel like I haven't reached for it in months, but I do want to keep this one. Most of these palettes I'm probably going to keep are more neutral palettes because that's what I like. But alright, next is a palette from Stila. This is the Eyes Are the Window in the one Spirit. And I actually like Stila eyeshadows. They're actually, I think, a very different formula. The mattes and stuff, they're not like very creamy. They're more like harder. But I find out, like I said, there's not a lot of fallout and that they build up very soft and beautifully on the eyes and they just blend out really well. But this one is more shimmer. Like, the only matte shades you really have in here are these three. And yeah, I think I'm going to pass this one along. So now we got another Stila one. This is the Matte and Metals one. And this one I actually really liked as well. This was more, I feel like, a very natural, you know, very like wearable shades. These right here are quite similar, I will be honest, like these two. And I like this palette. I really do. And like, I would probably, if I hadn't purchased it before, I might purchase it again if I didn't have the amount of palettes that I have, but I think I'm going to pass this one along as well. Alright, so next is BH Cosmetics. This is the this is the Warm Stone collection, and I think the last declutter I did, I got rid of the Cold Stone one, and I'm actually going to get rid of this one as well. So I just don't reach this. I think that there's other BH Cosmetics palettes that I find myself reaching for more. I did keep a couple right there, out of there, the larger palettes, and yeah, I just don't reach for this one at all. So I am going to pass this one along. And then BH Cosmetics again, we've got the Glam Reflections, and we have Rosé and what is this one? Smoke. So I can't remember if I did a video on these or not, but I actually didn't like the Smoke one, but I don't mind the Rosé one. So they're really, like, the mattes in this one, the Rosé one blended really well. And I like it, but again, I don't ever reach for these palettes anymore, so yeah, I'm going to get rid of both of these two because I just never ever reach for them. I feel like I'm getting rid of, I hope it almost not on my camera over. I feel like I'm getting rid of more than I'm keeping. Alright, next is from Too Faced. This is the Just Peachy Mattes. This was a like holy grail favorite palette of mine forever because I love matte eyeshadows. I'm going to keep this one, like this one right away. I already know I'm going to keep. I love this though more when I've got like a tan in the summertime against my blue eyes. I think it just looks really pretty, so I am going to be keeping this one as well. And then this right here, this is the IT Cosmetics Naturally Pretty Matte Luxe Transforming Eyeshadow Palette. again, I love matte eyeshadows, but these to me, I don't know if it's focusing on the eyeshadow palette, but these to me are just, I don't know, they don't show up as much as I would like them to on my eyes, and they just, like, I liked it, but I didn't love it. Like, there was a while where I did use this quite a bit, because you can see like this shade right here, and this one right here, I did really use them quite a bit, but I don't use them enough, so this one's gonna go as well. Next is the BH Cosmetics Enchant XO palette. So basically this has like the lipsticks on this side, and then you do get the eyeshadows on this side. And I actually really, really like this palette, but I'm going to get rid of it because she redid it where this side isn't lipsticks, it's more eyeshadows, and I just want to repurchase that version. But this was a great palette. I felt like the matte and shimmer shades performed really well, and I do like it, but like I said, I would like to have the newer one with the other shades on the back. So this one I am going to pass along too. Alright, next is from Tarte, and this one was quite expensive, so I feel like it's going to be hard for me to get rid of this one. It's the Foil Finger Paints, and the packaging though of this is absolutely beautiful, and the shades in here are actually really pretty, if you guys can see. You've got like 3 more like wet looking shades, and these are pressed glitters. For the price of this, I think it's ridiculous, and like I said, I don't even think they make this anymore, but I would not recommend this. It's not a product I recommend. The glitters in here remind me of those little glitters you can actually get from Wet n Wild, but I am going to keep it just because it was so expensive, so I'm going to keep that one. Next is from e.l.f. So this is the e.l.f. Mad for Matte palette, and I feel like I should keep this, but I feel like, I don't know, do I reach for it enough? I don't know. I love matte eyeshadows, and I used to love this, so I think I am actually going to keep it. It kind of reminds me of the Sonia Kashuk one. I think I used to actually compare these two, but I am going to keep this one, so. Alright, so now we got some Urban Decay. So this is the Naked 2, and I decluttered my Naked one forever ago. Believe it or not, I was one of the strange people that like the Naked 2 better, but I don't know if you guys can see, but this got a lot of love as well. I really love this palette, and it just kind of has like a special, I guess, meaning in my heart, and I feel like since I discontinued the Naked 1, it makes me wonder if they're going to do that to the Naked 2, so I'm going to keep that one. I am going to be keeping the Naked 3. This one, just every time Valentine's Day comes around, there's only one palette I think of, and it's the Naked 3. I love these colors in here. They're just very, I feel like, girly and just very pretty and like romantic shades, I guess you could say. I do really like it, so I do want to keep this one as well. I do like Urban Decay's formula. They have a really good formula, so. Alright, next is from Makeup Revolution. So this is the Ultra Eye Contour Light and Shade palette. I did a video comparing this to the Kat Von D palette, and I actually like this one better because I find that this one is just a little bit, in my opinion, easier to work with. Like the Kat Von D one, like they're smooth, they're buttery, they're creamy, but I almost feel like they're too creamy and buttery because they can blend into each other and get really muddy, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's, you know, I know many people like that palette, but I'm going to pass this along just because I never reached for it either. And then I am going to be passing this along as well. This is the Pure Cosmetics Midnight Masquerade. You get this in a BoxyCharm. You get several, I'm sorry if I'm blaming you guys, several eyeshadows and then some face products. The only thing I tried in here was the highlighter, and it just looked terrible on my skin. I just didn't like it, so I'm going to be getting rid of that one as well. And then next is the NYX Happy Birthday, and I think this was like a birthday gift, and I actually really like this. They were very soft though, like again, not very pigmented, like you did have to build them up quite a bit, but just gonna swatch a few. No, I'm gonna pass this one along as well, so. Alright, now for some Lorac. So this is the Lorac Pro 3 palette, and I actually loved the matte shades up here. I wasn't too blue. Was that gonna focus? I don't think so. There we go. Yeah, I actually love the matte shades, but the shimmer shades I felt like weren't as good as what was in the original one. But I just love the matte shades in this one, so I am going to keep it. It's kind of hard for me to let go of a Lorac palette because they are probably one of my favorite formulas of eyeshadows. Alright, again we've got another Lorac one. This is from that Los Angeles collection that they did, and this one's actually really pretty as well. I actually really liked this one. I think I might have done a tutorial with this. I can't remember, but I liked this one, but I felt like, again, the quality wasn't as good as what was in the original ones, and I don't know, just looking at this, it makes me just, yeah, I'm going to get rid of this one too. It just, like I said, there's nothing that like draws me to it, I guess. Alright, now we got some of the unzipped palettes here. We got the unzipped gold palette. I love the unzipped palettes. I think that, believe it or not, the quality is really nice in these. I do really like you get 3 matte shades. I do wish you actually get 4 matte shades. I like these palettes. I'll probably keep both of these because I do feel like there's a lot of times that when I want to do, like I said, a gold look, I think of that palette. And then this one is, I can't remember what this one is. This is just the unzipped palette. So I guess this might have been the original one maybe. This one kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Naked 3. It's kind of got more of like those rosier tones in there, like very romantic. So I will be keeping that one. Alright, some more Urban Decay. The Urban Decay Naked Heat. I actually really like this palette. Like, I didn't think these colors would look the best on my eyes, but I was addicted to this palette for a while. I think it was even in a favorites video. Again, I forgot about it because it was pushed back in my collection, but I do want to keep this one. This is the original, or the only Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I was thinking Makeup Revolution one. This one has only been used a few times. I'm definitely passing this along to my sister because she likes a lot of Kat Von D stuff, so. Or Lorac. Alright, so these are like the Sun More Unzipped palettes, but they come out with 3 versions. I don't know if I ever got, I think there was 3. I don't know why I've just got 2, but this is the Desert Sunset, and I actually created some beautiful looks with these. They're just a little bit harder to work with. I don't feel like they're as good as that original unzipped palette, but they're really pretty, and I know I want to keep these. This one right here is gorgeous as well. Just some of the shimmer shades, like this one right here, is just kind of, you gotta really pack it on, you know, but I do like them. I like the color one, so I am keeping that one. Alright, so next is the Kathleen Lights and ColourPop Dream Street palette. I love Kathleen Lights, but this I am going to pass along as well. So I think I actually got a bad one of these because her Zodiac palette by them I freaking love, but these shimmer shades and all of them are like so chunky and like gritty. I can't get them to apply to my eyes very nicely, and I feel like even this shade right here, like I have to drag it across my eyes. I can't pat it to get like good pigmentation. Just a lot of fallout. Yeah, I think I got a bad one, but I'm just gonna pass that one along. And then we got the Maybelline palette. So this is Lemonade Craze and Soda Pop. I love Lemonade Craze. I think that is so beautiful. Again, I love this in the summertime. I know I talked about this, so just really pretty. I think that these colors just look really good on my blue eyes. They are a little bit dusty, like a little bit powdery, so if you don't like that, you probably won't like these. But I think that if you have the patience to build them up, you can create a very beautiful look. The same thing with the Soda Pop collection. I really like this one as well. I use this in a full face of First Impressions, and I just love this color right here. I think it's beautiful, and I do really like this palette, so I do want to keep this one too. Alright, so next we've got Dose of Colors. So this is the Hidden Treasures palette. I've used this maybe like, I don't know, a few times. Not enough, I feel like, to really even give it a full shot. It's really, really pretty though, but I hate the layout of this because I feel like, I don't know, it just bothers me. And look, there was room for another eyeshadow. I don't know what they were thinking, but it was expensive if I remember right. I can't remember if this was limited edition or not, but I do want to keep it because, like I said, I didn't give it a fair shot. Lorac Pro. I would definitely be keeping this. It's like one of my all-time favorite palettes. It's really pretty. It's got a lot of love, as you guys can see if my camera will focus, maybe. But yeah, I do love this palette. I think it's really pretty. This original one I feel like is better than any one they've ever come out with. Alright, my pile is starting to tip a little bit. Alright, next is the Too Faced Boudoir Eyes, the Soft and Sexy Eyeshadow Collection. So I actually used to love this, you guys are going to probably see. But as you guys can see, it has this like weird hardness in like these 4 shades. And I don't know what it is, but like with this palette especially, I feel like they get this like weird like hardness to them, and their color payoff isn't as good. And this one did create a very soft look. Like if you want something very pigmented, probably not gonna like this, but I like that it created such a like soft look, and I did like it, but I'm just gonna let it go. I'm probably actually gonna throw this one away because I do think that maybe it's bad and that's why it started doing that, but I quit using this palette when it started doing that, so I don't know, I'm not sure. Smashbox, so this is one of their cover shop palettes. This is a smoky one, and I actually really like this palette. I was really glad I found it because I feel like I reached for this one in the fall. I think I did a really pretty look with this green shade right here on my channel a while back, but I really like this palette. It's cute. I'm going to keep it. This one, I'm hands down going to keep. It's from Viseart. It's the Golden Hour palette. I love Viseart eyeshadows. If I can get this one open. So this is the only thing that sucks about their packaging, is I can't ever get it open. There we go. So I did actually manage to keep this film on mine. I just flip it over the side, but I really love this palette. I know I've talked about it a few times. I just love their eyeshadows, so I know I do want to keep it as well. Sorry, I was talking about the Lorac Pro 4, but yeah, I am going to keep this one as well. I just have a weird attachment to Lorac eyeshadows. I don't know what it is. Alright, so the most of these I'm probably going to keep the rest of, I believe. But yeah, this is the Zodiac palette right here. I freaking love this. Like, this is one of my probably all-time favorite palettes. This will definitely be in my yearly favorites. It's so good. The mattes blend extremely well. The shimmer shades are really pretty. So I do want to keep it. And then next is the BH Cosmetics Royal Affair. So I did actually do a video with this, but I don't know if I'm going to post it because I filmed it like back when this first came out. But I kind of had mixed feelings about this. Like, some of these shades in here are really nice, but then for the most part I didn't love most of them. But I've gotten rid of, I think, like all my BH Cosmetic palettes except for like a few over there. So I'm going to keep this one because just in case I do like a BH Cosmetics video, I do want to have some palettes. This one's pretty good. It's just not my favorite. And then we do have a bunch of Anastasia. I just got her Sultry palette. It's what's on my eyes today. It's down there in the in my Sephora box. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm keeping all my Anastasia eyeshadow palettes. The Soft Glam one. I love this one. It is exactly what it says. It's a nice neutral soft glam palette. I love it, so I'm keeping that one. The Modern Renaissance, though, is probably my least favorite. I feel like so many people can be like, what? I hate you. But this one's definitely just not my favorite. It's pretty, but I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to get rid of it because I haven't tried enough yet. This actually used to be one of my favorite palettes by them. This is the Prism palette. This one, as you guys can see, has got a lot of use too, especially digging in with the shimmer shades. Just really like this. This was limited edition, so I don't use it much anymore on my channel. This is Subculture, and I've actually used this a few times as well, and I actually really, really liked it. I don't know why my camera won't focus, but I actually really, really liked it, and I know a lot of people didn't, but it worked really well for me, so I'm going to keep that one. Oh, this one I am going to get rid of. So this is Pretty Vulgar. This is the Nightingale palette. I just don't like the packaging of this, for one. And two, I just felt like the quality of this was just fair. Like, it wasn't the best. Like, some of these shimmer shades, like, which one is it? The Break Free shade up here, I just felt like it was really chunky. I don't know. I'll honestly never reach for this, so there's no reason to me keeping it. This one right here I'm going to keep just for sentimental value. This is the first Too Faced palette I ever purchased, and I don't know what I did with that other one. That's, oh, here it is, that Boudoir one. This is the very first packaging I think they ever had in these, and then they went to this like 10 packaging. But this one is so old, and this got so much use that this shade Silk Teddy, like, it come unglued and fell out. I have no idea where that went, but I used to, like, back in the day, you know, when you just put like 2 eyeshadows on, I used to put like Velvet Revolver in my crease, and then I'd come in with the shade Honey Pot, which is a beautiful shade, and put it all over my lid. But I do want to keep this one for sentimental value. Alright, so the rest of these I'm going to be keeping. This is a Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I really like this palette as well. I feel like I draw more towards these colors in this palette kind of in the springtime. And then we do have the Chocolate Gold palette. This one, the packaging is beautiful on this, but also these are beautiful shimmer shades in here. I really like them. I do feel like they're not as creamy as the other Too Faced ones, and they do take a little bit more work, but they're still really nice. And then I could never get rid of the original Chocolate Bar palette. Like, you guys believe this? I still have the name thing that goes over top of these. I was able to keep mine. I don't have the newer ones that's got like the, you know what, I guess I should just declutter this one and maybe buy the new one, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to keep that one too. So next we have the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbon palette, and in all honesty, I feel like this palette right here is probably one of my favorites by Too Faced because it's very neutral, and I feel like I draw a little more towards the neutral ones, and I feel like it does have, like, in my opinion, more like shades that I'm drawn to. Like these right here, they make a really pretty, beautiful look. This just deepen up your crease. This all over the lid. This in the crease is your first transition shade. I really like this. It's a good palette, so I do want to keep it. And then lastly, I do have the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill Vault. I actually had 2 of these. I ordered the first time they launched and the second time. I think there's definitely some inconsistency because I was so disappointed with the first ones that I got, and when I reordered her second launch, I felt that like a lot of them worked a lot better, so I'm not sure what was going on. The shade Ring the Alarm is the only one that's in the newer bunch that I haven't played with. This is what it looks like, but cause I'm not huge into like warm eyeshadow like that right there, but I don't think that the quality is as good as her original Jaclyn Hill palette, which I did keep back there. I think that it's a lot better, so in my opinion, like I said, I would recommend the original one if you're looking for one of her palettes to get, because it is amazing. So yeah guys, that is it. But really quick, I'm just gonna like put in that little version where I was showing you guys me decluttering the palettes that are right here that were there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pop that in real quick. So we're gonna do these up here first. So I'm gonna start out with this right here. This is the Alamar Cosmetics eyeshadow palette, and I actually really like this. I think it's got a lot of pretty pops of color, and I really love this shade right here. So I do want to keep this palette. We got this in a BoxyCharm. Oh, if you guys are wondering what's on my nails, it's Kale Polish Yzma. But I really like this palette, so I do want to keep this one. And then this one right here, this is the Kathleen Lights and Morphe collection. This was limited edition. I don't think you can get this anymore, and it just looks like this. I actually really like this palette. I never reach for it much anymore, but I do want to keep it because, like I said, as you guys can see, I did really love the shimmer shades in here, so I do want to keep this one as well. And then we've got this right here. This is the Morphe, I don't know what this is. This is the 25B palette. This one's I'm just going to give away. I just don't ever reach for this one. I really only liked the matte shades in here. I feel like the shimmer shades were just kind of lackluster. I love the palette, like I said, because I do feel like it does lean a little bit more like on the cooler tones and stuff in here, but I just never reached for it. So yeah, so I'm going to pass that one along. So, and then next we've got the Urban Decay Full Spectrum palette. I don't know if you guys remember this palette, but I actually use this a lot, believe it or not, when I do like my sister's makeup for like Halloween and stuff. So I'm going to keep it because it is one of the only, I feel like, colorful palettes that I do have. So I do want to keep that one. And then this is the Too Faced Natural Love palette, and I do want to keep this one as well for the same kind of reason, as I feel like I use this a lot when I do like my sister's makeup or other people's makeup. I just feel like the colors are more natural, and I feel like when someone asks, most of the time I feel like they ask for something a little bit more natural, and I do really like this palette, so I do want to keep this one too. So I feel like we're doing a terrible job. I'm so sorry. I can already tell you guys though, I am going to be keeping both my Lorac palettes. This is the original one. You can tell just by looking at the sides of this one how gross it is, how much I love this palette, and really just looking at the inside of it. Lorac's got to be one of my favorite formulas ever, so I know for sure I want to keep this one. And then this is the Mega Pro 4. I didn't love this one as much, but I loved the color selection in it. I love this blue down here, Peacock. It's so pretty, so I'm going to be keeping that one. And then this is the Jaclyn Hill palette. So this is the original Morphe palette. I did do a review of this on my channel, and I do like this palette. I just wish that Morphe eyeshadows had something in them that made them last just a little bit longer, because I feel like they don't last that long on the eyes. But I actually used this and recreated with her Vault collection and recreated that wedding tutorial she did, and it turned out really good. Alright, so next is BH Cosmetics. This is the Weekend Festival palette, and I really like this palette as well. I just love the colors in here, so I'm going to keep it. Oh my gosh, I'm doing terrible. And then this is the BH Cosmetics Galaxy Chic palette. Wow, these are really pretty colors too. I don't know. I'm not going to keep them both. I either got to get rid of the Festival one or the Galaxy one. Oh. Alright, I'm getting rid of the Galaxy one, and I'm going to keep the Festival one. Next is this one by Coastal Scents, and this one actually, I've had this for forever. You guys can see it's actually been like burnt and stuff. I feel like this was back when Coastal Scents like really had, was like big. I feel like bigger brands weren't that big, because I feel like back when I was younger, like Coastal Scents, when they did like their little sales on their eyeshadows, I did create this palette. This was a terrible quality palette. I don't even know if is Coastal Scents even around anymore? I don't know. But I used to love this, and I feel like I hang on to it every declutter for sentimental value, but I never use it anymore, so I'm going to pass it along as well. And then we've got the Morphe 35, what is this, 35T palette. I usually keep this to kind of compare some eyeshadows and stuff too, but this, even when I open it now, it has such a strong like chemically smell. That was like one of my biggest gripes even when I bought this palette. I never use it, so that one's going to go as well. And then this is the BH Cosmetics Modern Neutrals. I actually really liked the first 2 rows of this, like these 2 rows. But the bottom rows, I just felt like the quality was not as good. They were just not as great. And ultimately, like I said, this is a palette, again, I just never reach for. So it's just been sitting up here. And then last is the foiled eyes. So I'm actually going to get rid of the second one here because I don't know what it is, but I felt like they didn't perform as well as the first palette. And yeah, I'm just going to get rid of that one, but I am going to be keeping the first one because I still love this palette. Like you guys can see, I really mainly stick with, I feel like, the top row, but I just love this palette. It does get still quite a bit of use, even though I haven't used it in some time, so I do want to keep it. Alright guys, so I hope that you enjoyed this. I'm so sorry I couldn't like hold it up where you guys could see my drawers, because that's what I like, the declutters I like watching filming. But maybe next time I can get somebody here to like hold the camera for me while I talk through everything really quick. But if you enjoyed this video and you like these decluttering videos, just give this one a thumbs up, and I will make sure to film the rest of my collection that I decided to declutter. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.